Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're jumping straight into the UK property market, and specifically the upcoming mansion tax surcharge.
Which isn't even slated to start until April 2028.
Exactly, it's years away.
Hmm.
But our sources show the market is already behaving like it starts tomorrow. So our mission today is to explain what price bunching is, why sellers are reacting so early, and, well, the surprising cost this is already having for the Treasury.
And that speed of reaction is the crucial point. This isn't just simple price discovery. We are seeing homeowners actively structure sales to avoid the new tax bands, the ones at 2 million, 2.5, and so on.
This is more like price engineering.
It is absolutely price engineering.
Okay, let's unpack that with a real example. So price bunching means that sellers are deliberately pushing transactions to land just under these thresholds.
Right.
We're seeing properties listed at, say, £1,999,999 instead of just letting a deal settle naturally at maybe £2,050,000.
It's almost become mandatory to negotiate that way. I mean, we found this perfect anecdote of a property listed at exactly £5 million.
Right on the line.
Right on the cliff edge. The deal was basically done, but the seller's agent took one single pound off the price at the last minute, revised it to 4,999,999 terrace, and they exchanged that same evening.
And the buyer and seller agreed.
They both called it a no-brainer. That 1 pound saved them thousands in future tax.
But wait, hold on. Let's nail down that penalty. Why does a £1 difference today cause such a huge reaction? You'd think for a multi-million-pound property, an annual surcharge is just a rounding error, isn't it?
Well, that's where the behavioral economics really kicks in. It's fascinating because that tiny difference translates into a really heavy future liability. If you cross that first cliff edge at £2 million, you're hit with a £1,500 annual charge.
Which is £15,000 over 10 years.
Exactly. And if you cross the £5 million threshold, that's £7,500 a year. So suddenly you're looking at a £75,000 future payment. That compounded pain heavily influences what a buyer is willing to pay right now.
So sellers have to price it in. They have to discount the property today to cover a tax bill that doesn't even exist yet.
They have no choice.
Looking at the numbers here, the unintended consequence for the Treasury is just astonishing. The government expects this tax to raise $600 million a year once it starts.
Right, that's the projection.
But you're telling me the government is losing money before the tax has even begun.
Absolutely. Because all these properties are now being valued and sold at these lower bunched prices, the reaction is forecast to cost the Treasury $335 million.
In what? In lost stamp duty?
In lost stamp duty, capital gains tax, inheritance tax, you name it. That immediate underpricing locks in a lower valuation for every future tax event.
And this entire shift, it's very geographically focused, isn't it? The source material is clear. This is effectively a London and Southeast tax.
Oh, overwhelmingly. Because that's where the vast majority of these 2 million plus sales are. And the reason the bunching is so fierce, so many years ahead of time, it's a lack of clarity.
What do you mean?
The government hasn't defined exactly how properties will be valued in 2028 or how you can appeal it. So everyone just defaults to the safe cliff edge. A seller sees 2 mils in one as a potential £15,000 penalty, and they just steer well clear.
So for our listeners who are tracking the market, what are the sharpest negotiation points to watch for right now?
Okay, so you should expect the negotiation to be heaviest at all the specific boundaries, but really focus on 1.95 million up to 2 million pounds, and critically 4.95 million up to 5 million pounds. Agents have to be ready with the maths.
And what are buyers doing?
The buyer's focus is entirely on restructuring the deal. We're hearing they're literally making demands like, we need to land this at 1,999,999 for tax reasons. It's not even a negotiation point anymore, it's a condition.
So if we boil it down, our three key takeaways seem to be: first, this bunching is accelerating rapidly. Second, London is the epicenter of it all. And third, a tiny price difference today is translating into tens of thousands of pounds of future liability. It's just remarkable how psychology can dictate market value.
It is, and if you connect this to the bigger picture, the government has, well, essentially encouraged strategic underpricing by failing to define the valuation methods. So here's a thought to leave you with. Will the high-value property market in the UK be defined by tax avoidance behaviour for the next decade, rather than by traditional supply and demand? It really raises an important question about the long-term effectiveness of these behaviourally sensitive taxes.